I've only just realised that I never did a feature-length review of A Sunny Place for Shady People, so I thought I'd get right on that. As voted for, this was our pick for last month's book club read. Sidebar, there's less than 48 hours on the vote for the December book pick, and when I tell you that the top 3 choices, the difference is a single vote. So if you haven't already, please get on there, because you have all the power at this moment in time. You are basically deciding what we vote, what we read this month. So no pressure to this one. I was very nervous going into this, only because I remember really liking The Dangers of Smoking in Bed, and I thought, oh, is it like a one-hit wonder type of thing? Will this be as good? I think it's better. I actually think this was a step up. It reminded me of what the conversation that we had about Intermezzo, and how I said that you could clearly see like an evolution in Sally Rooney's writing, even though it's only been a few years. Same with this. It was like, oh, there's been an evolution, not just in Mariana Enriquez's writing, but in the translator's ability to distill her writing and convey a much clearer idea of, this is what she wants to tell us, these are the themes of her work. I'm appreciating them better now through you. This collection really goes there as well. Like, there's a couple of stories in this that are filthy. Like, I'm not going to get into them, but this, for the sake of social media censorship purposes, but there is some very adult material in this, and I loved that. It was so much more candid than the previous collection, just by comparison, because the last collection was also very, like, gnarly in places, and it had some, like, it wasn't completely PG-13 either, but compared to this, like, it was the next step. You see my other reviews where I go through anthology work, typically I will rank every story. I think that's a bit drawn out. I'm actually just going to zoom in on the ones that I was really impressed by, like my favourites. Definitely Face of Disgrace. If you're reading just one story from this, it would be Face of Disgrace. It's a really clever allegory that is quite haunting and has a lot to say about victims of SA and not being believed, the sort of lasting trauma and how it scars your mind and your body. Like, it's traumatizing but poignant. I think Different Colours Made of Tears as well is a very good one. Again, a lot of the same ideas about the mistreatment of women and victims of abuse. It was upsetting. This kind of book is really testament to, like, the renaissance of modern day horror, and how Enriquez is sort of like at the bastion of that, because she is really just all about these underrepresented stories that traditionally would never have been told, like the things that are horrifying to marginalised groups of people that, like, the straight white men that sort of founded the genre we're never going to talk about. And so that's where the sort of lasting imagery really, like, strikes it with us, because it's we're hearing it for the first time. These stories have never really been told decades prior, and so it's undiscovered territory, I would say. Like most short story collections, the bag is very mixed. There are a few that are, like, skippable, or at least, like, you read them with one eye open, if that makes sense. Like, it's definitely, they're not all created equal, but it's worth the read for the ones that are so above and beyond, like, masterclass in horror story writing. Like, they're what make it worthwhile. I'm just realising as well that this book is actually slightly taller than your typical paperback, which is going to be problematic on the shelf. I'm going to have to figure out what I do with this one. I guess just put it next to the hardbacks. I don't like that. It kind of gives me, like, when I was in Denmark, they had a lot of books that were this size. Like, maybe this is more common in Europe, or maybe this is how they do them in Argentina. Unclear. But that's probably my biggest gripe with the book. I think it's an amazing book and I would recommend it, but maybe wait for them to scale it down to a paperback size. I don't know.